Have you ever noticed how some people always seem to have a certain spark in their eyes when they talk? They are the ones who do not just sit there nodding, but are constantly scanning the horizon of a conversation for something deeper. Psychology tells us that high intelligence is not actually about knowing all the answers or reciting facts like a computer. Instead, it is about the quality of the questions you ask yourself and the world every single day. Highly intelligent individuals possess a unique mental architecture that triggers specific questions almost automatically. These questions shape how they think, how they learn, and most importantly, how they make decisions that lead to a better life. In this video, we are going to explore the 13 questions that high IQ individuals ask without even realizing it. If you find yourself asking these, it is a strong sign that your mind operates on a level of depth that most people rarely reach. Intelligence is a journey of curiosity, and it begins with the first and most fundamental question: why does this happen? High IQ people rarely take things at face value because they are naturally driven to find the root cause of every situation. Psychologists call this causal reasoning, which is the ability to trace events back to their original source. This skill allows them to analyze complex situations deeply and avoid repeating the same mistakes over and over again. For example, if a friend is upset, they do not just ask if they are okay. They wonder what specific trigger caused the shift in mood. This goes far beyond simple curiosity. It is a way of mapping the world in layers to understand how every action connects. By understanding the why, they gain a level of control over their environment that others simply lack. What if I tried it differently? Innovation and effective problem solving are natural states for highly intelligent minds. They often think in terms of endless possibilities, constantly asking themselves if there is a more efficient way to reach a goal. Psychologists describe this as counterfactual thinking, the ability to imagine alternative scenarios and outcomes that do not exist yet. It is exactly why intelligent people often come up with creative solutions when everyone else feels completely stuck. If they are working on a project and a problem arises, they do not blame their circumstances. Instead, they ask what other approach they could take to bypass the obstacle and find a better path forward. This habit leads to better long-term strategies, faster results, and breakthroughs in areas others find confusing. What am I missing? One of the truest hallmarks of high intelligence is a profound sense of self-awareness. Highly intelligent people are acutely aware that they do not know everything, so they constantly audit their own understanding. Psychologists call this metacognition, which literally means thinking about your own thinking process. By asking what they might be missing, they actively search for gaps in their knowledge to reduce errors. This habit prevents the trap of overconfidence and allows them to remain open to new and better information. Even in daily life, they tend to listen much more than they speak, trying to see the full picture before forming a judgment. This practice ensures that their decisions are informed and that they understand complex topics that others might easily overlook. How does this connect to something else? Highly intelligent individuals are natural pattern seekers who see the world as a web of interactions. They do not see isolated facts. They want to understand how different pieces of information link together. Psychologists refer to this as systems thinking, the ability to see how components interact within a much larger picture. For instance, reading about a historical event might lead them to wonder how that event still affects modern culture today. This question reveals a deep analytical mindset that connects ideas across multiple fields like science, history, and art. This kind of lateral thinking enhances their ability to learn quickly and make sophisticated decisions in real time. Is this the best explanation? High IQ people rarely accept the first answer they hear because they are natural skeptics of easy solutions. They constantly evaluate evidence, reasoning, and the underlying assumptions that others take for granted. Psychologists call this critical thinking, and it is perhaps the most famous trait of a high-functioning mind. They ask themselves if a statement is really true or if there could be a more logical reason behind a situation. Even in small social interactions, this habit shows up when they analyze the motives behind a person's words. This ensures that their judgments are accurate and prevents them from making rash decisions based on faulty logic. What can I learn from this? For a truly intelligent individual, every single experience in life serves as a valuable lesson. They ask what they can take away from a situation, regardless of whether it was a success or a painful failure. Psychologists call this reflective thinking, the process of turning life experiences into usable knowledge. If they face a difficult challenge, they do not feel defeated. They think about what the challenge taught them about themselves. This habit turns even the smallest life events into opportunities for mental and emotional growth. It makes their learning process continuous and automatic, ensuring they are always evolving as human beings. What comes next? High IQ people are forward thinking individuals who rarely focus only on the present. They naturally ask what the long term consequences of an action will be before they even take the first step. Psychologists call this prospective thinking, which involves predicting outcomes and planning for future challenges. Even in small decisions like choosing a book or starting a new project, they consider the future value of that choice. This habit gives them a significant edge in both their personal lives and their professional careers. It allows them to make smarter decisions today that will eventually pay off in much larger ways down the road. Why do people do what they do? Highly intelligent individuals are often fascinated by the complexities of human behavior and social dynamics. They naturally question why a person thinks, feels, or acts in a specific way during social interactions. Psychologists call this social cognition, the ability to understand the motives and emotions of those around us. By asking this question, they are able to navigate social situations more effectively and build stronger relationships. For example, if a colleague reacts negatively to feedback, they look for the underlying reasons instead of getting angry. This understanding helps them respond with wisdom and empathy, rather than reacting on impulse or emotion. What is the bigger picture? High IQ people rarely get bogged down in minor details that do not matter in the long run. Instead, they take a step back and ask how a situation fits into the grand scheme of things. Psychologists say this ability to zoom out helps them connect dots that others might completely miss. While someone else might get frustrated with a small issue at work, a high IQ person looks at the project's overall health. By seeing the bigger picture, they can make better strategic decisions and anticipate problems before they arise. This kind of thinking helps them stay focused on what truly matters, avoiding the stress of insignificant distractions. Could there be a hidden pattern? People with high intelligence naturally look for patterns, even when a situation appears to be completely random. They ask themselves if there is a hidden connection behind events, trends, or human behaviors. Psychologists say this helps them recognize unique opportunities and solve complex problems much faster than others. For instance, they might notice subtle habits in a friend that indicate a bigger change in that person's life. They might also pick up on recurring themes in data that reveal a massive insight that no one else saw. This constant search for patterns allows them to make decisions that feel instinctual, but are actually based on deep observation. What assumptions am I making? A high functioning mind never takes its own thoughts for granted because it knows the brain can be biased. They constantly question their own logic by asking if they are assuming too much or if they could be wrong. Psychologists describe this as a hallmark of advanced critical thinking and intellectual humility. This self checking process reduces bias, prevents expensive mistakes, and improves the overall accuracy of their choices. Instead of blindly trusting a source of information, they pause to analyze if facts actually support their current beliefs. This keeps their thinking sharp, reliable, and grounded in reality rather than wishful thinking or ego. How does this affect me and others? Highly intelligent people think far beyond their own immediate needs and desires. They consider not just how a choice impacts them, but also how it affects the community and the people they love. Psychologists call this perspective taking, and it is a key trait of both emotional and social intelligence. Before giving difficult feedback or making a big life change, they consider the emotional impact on their environment. This awareness helps them make smarter, more empathetic decisions that build trust and foster long-term harmony. It is the reason why highly intelligent people are often seen as natural leaders and reliable friends. Could I learn something new from this? High IQ individuals approach every single experience as a golden opportunity to expand their horizons. They ask what they can take away from a conversation, a book, or even a simple walk in the park. Psychologists note that this curiosity-driven mindset keeps the brain sharp, adaptable, and incredibly resilient. Even routine events or challenges become lessons that they can use to improve their future selves. A simple disagreement might lead them to understand a new perspective they had never considered before. This constant hunger for knowledge ensures that they are always growing mentally, emotionally, and socially. High intelligence is not just about a high score on a test or a prestigious degree from a university. It is about the relentless habit of asking the right questions at the exact right time. Questions like why, what if, and what am I missing allow high IQ people to explore the world with more depth. They allow for critical thinking, smarter decision making, and a life lived with purpose and clarity. Do you naturally ask these types of questions in your own daily life? Take a moment to reflect on which of these 13 questions resonates with you the most. If you recognize these patterns in your own mind, you're likely operating with a high level of cognitive depth. Embrace your curiosity and never stop asking the questions that lead to true understanding. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing how these questions change your perspective.